Ka hea na o makua na la a holoholona na kupuna me kaua kaukeia. Ko kua kaua malama pu'u vai hamama mana o hamama. Mahalo nui loa kau aloha palena ole mene mene palena ole. Mahalo nui loa kako e amama. Aloha, beautiful friend, beautiful person, beautiful soul. Thanks for tuning in again to another episode of I Am Aloha. Today's topic is going to be ho'oponopono. I already made a small intro last time as we spoke about pono. And for those of you who didn't see or listen to last week's episode, pono means divine harmony. And ho'o means making. So when you talk about ho'oponopono, it's kind of like making something into divine harmony, making it harmoniously. So, and it's double because you've probably heard from Lomi Lomi massage where you also have one name that's said double. Hawaiians like to say things double if they want to make the meaning even greater than it already is. So that's what ho'oponopono means. It's making it really extremely harmonical or divine harmon. How do you say? Yeah, bring it into a divine harmony. So, what's the deal with the whole thing? I'd like to start with that. You know, we were in the last episodes. We talked about the whole Huna philosophy, which I believe is a nice. It's not like I wouldn't see it as rules, but it's kind of like a guidance system that we can use to see if there are things that are not pono with us, that are not feeling good. So what do I mean by that? Like if a certain situation makes you feel angry or some words of someone makes you feel sad or other words bring out a fear in you. So I would say that those are things that just don't feel really pono, don't feel in harmony with yourself, with your own being. So that's when ho'oponopono comes in. So ho'oponopono has this idea that I think I'm going to start differently. Ho'oponopono is not really a technique because there are so many different kinds of ways to do ho'oponopono. Because you can do ho'oponopono in a meditation, in a deep meditation. You can do it by speaking a mantra. You can do that by actually going to a ho'oponopono lomi massage, for example. And so those are the techniques that come with the ho'oponopono. But I believe that it's more of a way of living, you know, a way of seeing the world. And that's where this explanation comes in. For all of you, maybe you've heard of him. He's not the only. There are different kinds of techniques as well. So I'm not just going to go into. I'm not going to say that he's the one that created Ho'oponopono because he wasn't. He just offered one of the many techniques that there are. His name is Dr. Schulen. And maybe you've heard of the book Zero Limits that was written by Joe Vitale. Who helps, basically Joe Vitale kind of like, the book is about how he found out about Dr. Schulen and how he started to learn from him. So the thing about Schulen is, Dr. Schulen, is that he was invited into a psychiatry on Hawaii for really strong medicated it was really a psych ward, I think you can call it. And he was called to be the director of that place. And that place was pretty in a bad shape, meaning that the co-workers were calling in sick very often, and the inmates, as I would call them, the inmates, would be very strongly medicated. So Dr. Schulen said that he would come up there and become the director of that institution. And he started doing ho'oponopono just by looking at the charts of the patients. He didn't visit one patient at all. Well, that's how the story goes. I think, for me, this story sounds very real, so I believe it, but you can decide for yourself if you want to believe in it. Anyhow, by doing that kind of the whole ho'oponopono only with the charts, he managed that after 3 or 4 years, the co-workers weren't calling sick anymore, were actually going to work very happy, and the inmates actually managed to get off of their meds and even find things on how to become part of the community again. So yeah, that sounds a little bit like a story, right? Like it's very far-fetched. But if you look at the main idea, Dr. Schulen says that the whole world is just a mirror of ourselves. So whatever happens on the outside is just a mirror of something that is programmed inside of me. So if I'm programmed to be a lovely person, I'm going to be expecting that. I'm going to be living that. People around me are going to mirror me that I am a lovely person. If I think I'm not worthy for something, that's what the people are going to be mirroring me. So basically it's like feeling like if you have something inside of you that's not very well, that's what it's kind of like subconsciously we allow other people to become the actors of our lives. And if you take that, just this imagine everyone around you is just an actor that actually you yourself gave permission to show you or mirror you a certain pattern that you have. You know, the typical one of, for example, my boss is not appreciating me. So that's kind of like you're giving that info to the outside. But remember when we were talking about the world is what you see. If now ask yourself, what are you seeing in that moment? You're seeing that you're not someone to be appreciated. So that's because you're not appreciating yourself. That's what the world outside is showing you. So now how do you heal that? And that's where Pono comes in general, whatever works best for you. So with whatever situation, you can take whatever technique. For some people, it's shamanic meditations, for example. For others, it's energy work. Other people, again, just go jogging for an hour and they're going to be fine with that. Or you can actually start using some of the ho'oponopono techniques. And the subject, the topic of ho'oponopono is so big that it's going to be too big for just an episode here. But I do want to give you a small exercise where you can actually practice it. For that, I want to just share another thing with you, that ho'oponopono is basically you changing the energy of something. So you have to concentrate on the emotion that's going wrong. So if, for example, your boss is making you feel that you're not worth it, what's the exact feeling you get there? What's the emotion that triggers inside of you? See, so feel into that. Be aware that you're feeling that. And then you imagine adding these 4 qualities. And just let me get them right. Love, gratefulness, forgiveness, and compassion. The order, whatever feels best for you. If you prefer to start with compassion, go over forgiveness, love, gratefulness. Whatever your own, however you want to do that. Even if in some cases you probably maybe only want forgiveness and love. Or maybe for another time you're going to have compassion and love. You know, you're gonna get a feeling of that. So now I gave you the quality you're going to be putting in there, but you're asking yourself probably, how do I do that? Well, for starters, I would suggest to use the mantra that's basically probably known everywhere, the Ho'oponopono mantra. Please forgive. No, sorry, in English it starts different. I'm sorry, please forgive. I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive. I love you, thank you. You can switch the order if you want to. The idea is of you just repeating that over and over again. Remember with the feeling that you had about not feeling worthy? Feel into that, tap into that, and just imagine how when you say those words, and even if you're doing that in a place where you can't actually speak it out, imagine the vibration of the words in your head. Imagine that, how it sinks into that feeling and it covers it. It goes, I love you, please forgive, I'm sorry, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive, over and over again. Just find the order that feels best for you and then start repeating it over and over again. You're going to see that that feeling is going to start to become less. It might be that it's not going to be gone completely, but you'll feel a difference. And maybe next time when it will come up, it won't be as strong as it was the first time. So you see where I'm getting it? Because the thing is, because sometimes we have those special things that are really deep. You know, that's something that we've been dragging along for years and years inside of us. Those kind of emotions are a little bit harder to get rid of, to put it that way, to let go of, to forgive. So for those, it might be better to use a Ho'oponopono Lomi Lomi, or maybe to use something that's more, how do I put it, a little bit more deeper, you know, like a deep meditation, you know. But for starters, just to give you a feeling of Ho'oponopono, if you start with this mantra, that's going to do a lot of work for you. You're going to see that that's going to be affecting a lot, and it's going to be working very good for you. So take that as an exercise. And as for that, just watch yourself with the emotions. What kind of emotions come up? Don't see, like, you know, if someone is mean to you, don't see how watch yourself, that when you're talking to that person or whatever that person said to you, you're going to go in this anger, you know, but don't be angry at the person. Just watch what kind of emotions come up and start transforming those emotions inside of you. You're going to see, and this is this wonderful thing about Ho'oponopono, because you're not working on the other people. You're not working on changing them. You're only working on changing yourself. The miracle of it is going to be that while you work on yourself, you're going to see people outside of you start to change. And all that without you actually talking to them about it, because you only changed it inside of you. Because imagine you have this emotion, this fear, for example, and it gets fed all the time because you keep having this fear, and everyone around you keeps showing you that, yeah, you're right to have that fear, right? But once you start healing that fear, you're not going to be meeting people that are going to be feeding that fear for you. I always like to take a small example from my early stages of spiritual path, because, you know, I had a normal path, learning a normal job before I encountered my calling into the spiritual world. So when I started doing that, getting into that, learning about books and everything, for me it was like, I can't really tell everyone that, I can't tell everyone that I'm spiritual. So I would talk really And then still I would meet some people that go like, oh yeah, oh those spiritual things, so crazy. I can't believe in them. They're like so made up. So I would meet a lot of people like that, and then I realized it's me. I'm the one that actually has this conflict inside of me. Because on one hand, I'd like to be spiritual, but I come from a very head-based, logical kind of thinking. So the whole spiritual path had no space in it, or was contradicting it a little bit. So I healed that part inside of me. I healed this doubt about it. And once I did that, I started to meet people that were actually open for it, were open-minded for the spiritual things, for my spiritual path, for what I was doing, and because they also had those kind of things. The whole vibration changed. But it's not like I took one of these people that were talking bad about spiritual stuff. No, I changed it inside of me. And the funny thing is that it's not like I don't meet people that don't believe in those things nowadays, but they're very fewer than back then. And if I do meet them, I don't mind. I'm fine with it for myself, and because I healed it for myself. So if they say, oh, I don't believe those things, it's okay. They can believe whatever they want. I don't need to fight it anymore. You know what I mean? So, and it doesn't bother me anymore. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that's one of the beauties about Ho'oponopono, is that you can actually use this to change things inside of you. And while you're changing it inside of you, you're changing it for the outside. Yeah. So you see, there's a lot in there for Ho'oponopono. So, I know I want to do a longer workshop going deeper into the whole things, that you can actually do with it, because like I said, it's one of my favorite techniques and ways of seeing the world. And to tell you the truth, I've used it for myself a lot, and also for people in my practice, and it's a wonderful way of really letting go and getting rid of that. It's like that weight, because all those negative emotions are just holding us back, holding us down. And once we learn to transform them and not having them in our backpack, carrying it around all the time, it just gives us a different kind of freedom into everything else, into our hearts. And yeah, lets us become more ourselves, our real true selves from the soul. So I hope I could give you some idea of it. Well, let's see what we're going to do next week. But for now, have fun enjoying a little bit exercise of Ho'oponopono. And well, maybe if you'd like to just practice on with the looking at the other 7 principles. And I'm looking forward for our next I Am Aloha episode. Let's see what my heart will inspire us to do next week. Until then, if you'd like to, I think on Tuesday we're going to have another Spirit Energy Circle. So if you'd like to join us on this podcast or on this YouTube channel, have a lot of fun. And a big aloha mahalo from my heart to your heart for tuning in again. Have a very blessed weekend and a great start into the next week. Until then, ahui ho, bye-bye. Thanks a lot for tuning in again. I hope you were able to have some good takeaways for yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, and if you'd like to receive some information about actual energies and more inspirational information, sign up to my newsletter. You can find the link on my website www.iamaloha.de. I am looking forward to talk to you again next time, and until then, aloha mahalo, e ho'omaikai kako, e ahui ho.